Welcome to the first of 6 honest looks I'm doing on the Quintessential Quintuplets. For each of these, I will be referencing events up through chapter 86 of the manga, so if you're not caught up and sensitive to spoilers, view at your own discretion. Ichika is the first on the docket. She is the first quintuplet in terms of birth order, and she was introduced as the seductive older sister type. As such, she's sort of the most mature of the quints, or at the very least the least immature. And she has also had the sharpest drop in popularity due to recent events in the manga, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. During the first few chapters, Ichika fell into the background a bit, getting a few defining moments, but mostly it just slept on her. And I have to give praise to Neji for compartmentalizing the important aspects and conflicts for each character in this way. When I say the story slept on Ichika, I mean she literally slept through important scenes. And this all goes back to one of her defining traits. In 7 Goodbyes, Futaro calls her a daydreaming idiot. She's not opposed to Futaro, or at least she's not openly antagonistic towards him like Itsuki and Nino, but she is antagonistic to school. She has a dream to be an actress and is willing to do anything to achieve those dreams. We first see that in the fireworks arc, where she skips out on a very important family tradition to audition for a movie. And it's here that she has her first conflict with Futaro. He wants to bring all the girls together in order to appease Nino, and she's being the most difficult about it. Here, Futaro uses his limited knowledge of Ichika and manages to see through the act. She genuinely cares about her sisters, and ditching them is tearing her apart inside. Futaro sees it, addresses it, and that's when Ichika realizes he's not just a tutor. And this is highlighted in both her own character song and the line she has in the main song. The next chunk sees her acting as a protagonistic force for Miku, creating scenarios to push them together and trying to convince the other girls that Futaro does have the potential to care about them as more than just students. And this brings us to the bonfire arc. This is also where she starts to develop feelings for him, and accidentally incites Itsuki's role in the arc in the process, which is all good stuff. For a long time, Ichika doesn't act on these feelings. She continues pursuing acting. She gets sidelined during the 7 Goodbyes arc until she pays for the new apartment. She continues falling more in love with Futaro and continues denying those feelings because of Miku. And then the final exam happened where she got the best grades, thus dashing Miku's plan to confess to Futaro. This creates a conflict of character. She loves her sister, she loves Futaro, she even thinks that maybe it was fate that caused her to outperform Miku, and then the desperation. She overhears Nino's confession, and that just adds more to her heartache. She doesn't get a lot to do in Scrambled Eggs, but what moments she does have are extremely important. She talks to Nino about their mutual feelings towards Futaro, and she talks to Yotsuba, who convinces her to just go for it. And she tries playing things straight, trying to get Futaro alone, which is just impossible with Nino and Miku also vying for Futaro's attention, plus Itsuki and Yotsuba doing their thing. And then, the curveball showdown. So, the first thing we need to address is how desperate Ichika is and how she has begun to see a future with Futaro as part of her dream life. Next, she just coincidentally used a Miku disguise to get away from her fans. Next, Futaro brags about seeing through Miku's disguise back in Scrambled Eggs, and so, in this move of desperation, Ichika confesses to Futaro, which is good, except that she's doing this as Miku, and claims that the third sibling has no such feelings for him. Sadly for her, Futaro already knows something is up because he's not an idiot. And so throughout the Sister War, Ichika has to try to disable Miku's attempts specifically because if she were to confess, Futaro would know that Ichika's ploy was a lie, and lose trust in her. And if he loses trust in her, she'll lose her chances to be with him. And that's basically what happens. Each of the sisters learn a variation of the same lesson. I'll spell that lesson out in its entirety when I get to Futaro, but you'll be able to cobble it together if you watch all 5 honest looks on the sisters. Ichika's main lesson is that when you interfere with others, you invite them to interfere with you. And if you're constantly trampling over yourselves, nobody wins. We see this when she comes up with the idea of leaving things to chance, convincing all her sisters to pick a different course so that only one of them will spend the day with Futaro. And this is where Ichika's redemption comes in. She actually knows which course Futaro is going to pick and picks it. And then after feeling guilty about what she did to Miku, she switches courses with her, but still stays on that course to support Miku from the shadows, and is joined by the other girls who basically shuffled around when they saw Futaro wasn't on their desired course. In the end, Ichika apologizes to Miku and is forgiven. She then cuts her losses with Futaro by admitting that it was a lie, And then as part of that everything, she puts the truth, thus lying again for his sake and the sake of her family. I know a lot of people aren't really happy about the girls doing that, but you have to understand that Futaro is under a lot of pressure. They know from the Seven Goodbyes arc that when they fight, he gets caught in the middle of it, and so Ichika successfully convinces him of, if nothing else, the true fact that they are no longer going to fight over him, thus bringing everyone into the coming arc. In the end, Ichika is a perfect example of the solid character writing Neji is capable of. He's not afraid to give the waifus a heel turn, he's not afraid to make them act out of selfishness, and suffer the consequences for it. Ichika is my least favorite quintuplet, and even she is filled with more intricate details and nuances, many of which I probably missed in this video. If you like this analysis and you want to see more, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell for more videos on Quintessential Quintuplets, One Piece, and Ruby, and whatever else I decide to make videos on. And if you want to take the pressure off me the way the Nakano sisters did for Futaro, support me on Patreon. A donation of $10 or more grants you one video topic request, and it can be anything. So until next time, I'm Mediocrity4, thanks for watching.